Hi, I'm Miss Wood here. Today I am going to be giving you an extra special video on tips and tricks for oral presentations. I'll be telling you the do's, the don'ts, what can be a bit funny to watch as a teacher, and what can probably get you the better marks. Okay, so for this presentation I'll be working with an ultimate classic, the Babysitters Club Super Special Snowbound. So this is what I will be reading from, and if you do not know of the Babysitters Club, check it out on Netflix. Okay, so tip number 1, fidgeting. I am the ultimate fidgeter. The irony of me telling you to be aware of your fidgeting is that I'm always fidgeting, but here's some strategies. Firstly, let me show you what it looks like when you're doing a presentation and you're fidgeting. Guess what? Mum and I found when we reached Jeff's gate at the airport. A smiling and relieved Jeff. No. An anxious and hysterical Jeff. No. Pandemonium? Well, almost. A bunch of people were crowded around the ticket counter. Right? Constant movement. It's a huge distraction. Let's try this again with a little tool. This is what I call a fidget toy. You might have heard of them. If you choose a fidget toy, you want one that can be really kind of hardly seen, make little noise. This isn't the best choice, but it's all I had on me at home. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this in my hand, maybe try and do a bit forward, point my back a little bit. I'm just going to fidget with my toy. You're probably best to use like that putty dough. I want to get some of that. I hear it's really good. But something can't be seen, can't be heard, but it can help with your fidgeting. And you know what? It can also help with your nerves. Another tip, just put your hand in your pocket. Might come across a little bit nonchalant though. So let's try this again with the fidget toy. Guess what Mum and I found when we reached Jeff's gate at the airport? A smiling and relieved Jeff? No. An anxious and hysterical Jeff? No. Pandemonium? Well, almost. Notice the difference? Because my hand was fidgeting with this, it didn't feel the need to be going like this. Alright, tip number 2. Don't just read straight off the page. This is what it looks like when you do that. Guess what Mum and I found when we reached Jeff's gate at the airport? A smiling and relieved Jeff? No. An anxious and hysterical Jeff? No. Pandemonium? Well, almost. Boring, right? Just reading off the page. I'm not engaging with you at all. Now, you might do cue cards. Little cue cards you hold in your hand. Probably not the fidget hand. I would probably do cue cards in this hand, in this hand. I haven't done cue cards for the Babysitters Club, but feel like I probably know the Babysitters Club enough that I could read some of it without having to look at the page the whole time. Let's give this a shot. I was one of the BSC members who would have had to miss Wednesday's meeting if Christy had decided to hold it. My ballet lessons are very important to me, and so are the productions I dance in. I performed parts in the Nutcracker many times. But this was the first year I was cast as the king of the mice. Usually a boy plays that part, but I didn't mind doing it once. Notice the difference? I only had to look down a little bit. Ideally, I would know my speech off by heart. I wouldn't have even had to look down that much. I would have only just had one word on the bit of paper, and I should know what that can trigger. I should be like, okay, I've read this enough. I know what that means. If this was me and I were you, I'd probably put down the statistics, the evidence, things like that on the bit of paper. You don't want to stuff those up. So if you're worried that you might not be able to remember that 666,322 and 94 people have blonde hair, I am one of them, you might want that written down. But you don't want to be reading straight off the page. You don't want to be reading straight off a phone. You don't want to be reading straight off a laptop. You look like you are unprepared, you haven't practiced, you don't know the speech, and it's not really fun to watch, is it? All right. Tip number 3 goes hand in hand with that last one, is look up. This ties in with eye contact. All right, so let's do this without looking up. Similar to what we would have seen last time. Let's pick a different page because you know what? We all need to know different parts of the Babysitters Club. Let's read a bit from Mallory Pike, who has like 7 brothers and sisters. Anyway. When Mum and Dad first started talking about this trip to New York, some teensy little part of my brain hoped I might be left in charge, well accompanied by another babysitter, since that's the Pike rule. Then I found out that my parents were going to leave extra early in the morning and not return until like 2 a.m. I lost all hope. Right? Not looking at you at all. Imagine if you're in class and a teacher is giving you a lesson and they're just like this the whole time. You're going to be like, sir, miss, are you even teaching us? Or are you just kind of reading off the paper? You want to keep people engaged, interested. One tip to do that, you give them eye contact. You give a student eye contact, they're like, oh, I'm being watched, I've got to look up. But something not to do, which is super creepy when you're in the classroom. Sometimes people go, I'm just going to stare at the teacher the whole time. And I just see you staring at me the whole time. That's awkward. Don't do that. If you're in my class and you see me kind of just looking down, taking notes a lot, I'm probably taking more notes than usual because I'm just feeling really uncomfortable that you're just staring at me the whole time. Try and look around, pan the classroom. Don't imagine people naked. I think that's a weird thing to tell someone. It's not going to probably give the correct facial expression, but give it more of a shot like this. When Mum and Dad first started talking about this trip to New York, some teensy little part of my brain hoped I might be left in charge. Well, accompanied by another babysitter, because that's the Pike rule. Then I found out that my parents were going to leave extra early in the morning and not return until 2 a.m. Okay, obviously for this task, you're filming it on camera. So you're not going to be panning around the room. It's going to be weird, isn't it? I'm going to be like, what's there, something on your roof? You're going to be looking at the camera. Now, I like to make lots of videos. Something when you film yourself on your phone. This is when I'm looking at the actual camera dot. And as you can see, when I do that, it doesn't actually look like I'm looking at you. I'm going to do it again. I'll notice this when I play back. But if I just look at myself, that's what comes back to show that you're looking at the camera. Okay, or rather the person. So if you're in class, you'd be like, sussing it out. If you're doing it the way you're doing the presentation for this, you're looking at the camera. All right, my next tip, I don't even know what tip number I'm up to, but my next tip is, and this is going to seem weird, I'm going to stand back for this to show the full effect. Be mindful of how you stand. I have seen students do weird things during our presentations. I'm going to give you an example of what I've seen some kids do. And I don't know if they were practicing their dance moves for the dance assessment the next period, or if they were just really, really nervous. They were moving around. Maybe they were trying to get their steps up. I don't know. But when they were presenting, all I could notice was them like nearly doing the running man, right? Don't do it. You can move, yeah? I'm not saying, hello class, I'm here to present, right? Probably a bit weird. You might kind of take a stance down here. If you're in a classroom, it's even better if you can walk up and actually just engage people. Think about when teachers do that. But in terms of this, you kind of just want to be more looking at the camera, okay? If you want to know how good speeches look when people do this, go check out like some Obama maybe. He did pretty good speeches. I like watching his. Martin Luther King, he did pretty good speeches also. So there's a few people you could suss out and be like, I'm noticing how they're standing. Okay, next tip. Oh, these two go hand in hand, so I'm just going to put these together. Tone and expression. One of my favourite 80s shows is a show called The Wonder Years. If you never heard of it, go check it out. Good show. But something I always remember from that show is the science teacher. And Kevin and Whitney and Paul Pfeiffer, Whitney Cooper, Kevin Arnold, Paul Pfeiffer, 3 characters. Paul Pfeiffer is not Marilyn Manson, for those who get into a loophole. They had a really boring science teacher, and they were also always so bored. And this is how the science teacher read. Let's go to a different page. Let's read a bit of Dawn. Dawn's the California girl. Besides, what's so bad about snow, I meant? What's so bad about it, apart from the fact that it's freezing cold and wet? As a California girl, I am rarely warm enough in Connecticut. Oh sure, California isn't the tropics. It has its share of cold, damp weather, but nothing like Connecticut's freezing winters. And I had certainly never seen snow where I lived in California. Yawn fest. So boring. You need tone, you need expression. But the catch is the tone and expression has to actually match the tone and expression of your piece. Let's have a look at how this goes when it doesn't match. All right, I'm going to do aggressive tone, okay? And I'm going to just read more straight off, just so because as I said, I haven't memorized this book probably since I was like 10 years old, okay? So I'm going to go to a different page. Let's go to, who's my favorite character in the Babysitters Club? Probably Christy. I feel like I related to her. Those who decide to watch it will be like, yes. All right. Christy was a little bit angry all the time, but let's try aggressive tone. Tell me how this works. In case you can't tell, I did not exactly appreciate having to get... It kind of fits with Christy. Let me try. Actually, I was going to read this page. It's really funny. It's about like her boyfriend Bart stayed over. Yeah. She was like 12, 13. In case you can't tell, I don't exactly appreciate having to get up at the crack of dawn on a snow day in order to make myself look great, but that's what I did. I was not about to let Bart catch me with morning breath, sleepy eyes and bed hair. So when my alarm went off, I tiptoed out of my room and down to the hall in the bathroom. I locked myself in. I rummaged around the cabinet under the sink. I decided that I might as well shave my legs for the first time. Doesn't work. Why so angry, Christy? Okay, it's not the correct tone for what I'm saying. All right, let's try now over the top happy tone. And some people use happy tones at times when they shouldn't. For example, if you're doing your presentation on the amount of people that have died this year from COVID-19, you don't want to be smiling. You don't want to be laughing. People do that when they're nervous. You know what you guys can do though? You guys have the benefit of being able to cut, edit, change your videos, redo them, etc. so that it doesn't happen. You might do a bloopers at the end. I'll always love watching a good blooper, but not during. Let's try happy tone and see how this comes out. In case you can't tell, I did not exactly appreciate having to get up at the crack of dawn on a snow day in order to make myself look great, but that's what I did. I was not about to let Bart catch me with morning breath, sleepy eyes and bed hair. So when my alarm went off, I tiptoed out of my room and down to my hall to the bathroom. I locked myself in. Then I rummaged around the cabinet under the sink. I had decided that I might as well shave my legs for the first time. Doesn't work. Let's try the third tone that tends to happen. Sad tone. Okay, I don't do sad very well, but let's try it. In case you can't tell, I do not exactly appreciate having to get up at the crack of dawn on a snow day in order to make myself look great, but that's what I did. I was not about to let Bart catch me with morning breath, sleepy eyes and bed hair. So when my alarm went off, I tiptoed out of the room and down to the hall to the bathroom. I locked myself in. Then I rummaged around the cabinet under the sink. I decided I might as well shave my legs for the first time. Doesn't fit, right? So make sure your tone is matching what you're saying. And your tone will probably change throughout. And that's good, because a good persuasive piece will change tone with the strategy. All right? So what I find students often do to help this, they actually put the tone on their notes. So if they've got a point where it's a clear tone change, they'll put it in their cue cards and they're like, changing tone right now. got it. Let's see how now this would sound with what I think would be the correct tone, more of just an engaging neutral tone. In case you can't tell, I don't exactly appreciate having to get up at the crack of dawn on a snow day in order to make myself look great, but that's what I did. I was not about to let Bart catch me with morning breath, sleepy eyes and bed hair. So when my alarm went off, I tiptoed out of my room and down to the hall to the bathroom. I locked myself in. Then I rummaged around the cabinet under the sink. I had decided that I might as well shave my legs for the first time. Right? Tone matches. Really important. So, then my tips. Let me just recap, probably not in the order because I don't quite remember the order, but what I've been through. 1, don't fidget. 2, don't just reach off the piece of paper. Try and have cue cards. Look up. Look at the camera as much as you can. 3, I'm trying to just check my notes. I should put my notes here so it didn't look like I was looking to the side. I'm not redoing this whole 17-minute video. Like I said, look up, look around. Don't be weird with your feet. Don't be doing like some TikTok dance. Renegade, I don't know it. I don't know it. You guys are going to be like, Miss, you idiot. Tone, expression, really important. And if all else fails and you're like, Miss, I can't work on my tone or expression, go outside. Film it with a mask on. No one's going to know what your tone or expression even is, but we might not be able to hear you properly, and we'll still probably be able to tell a little bit through the mask. So, I hope all those tips have helped you. Good luck. So excited to see your presentations. Take care.